my channel Subhasha's classes. Today we shall start from the very beginning of chemistry for 11th class, and in this section we shall go up to the classification of matter, and we shall start with chemistry. Chemistry is the branch of science that deals with composition of matter, how matter is what matter is composed of, what makes matter, what is matter, and the composition of matter and the various bonds that work so that the matter can take different forms of substances, and the composition which sometimes is uniform, homogeneous or heterogeneous. All these things constitute chemistry. Chemistry is a vast branch of science, and if we just try to simply just categorize branches of chemistry, we shall go for the first one as physical chemistry. This part of chemistry is like physics, and in this section we generally deal with the physical laws that govern different substances and chemical compounds. And in this section we generally have numerical problems, different mathematical problems related to different chemical laws, and we shall have in this year 11th class we shall have at least 11 chapters that come under physical chemistry. And then the second branch is inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry is the branch of chemistry which deals with inorganic substances, the substances that are not related to life but they help life to grow up and up. And inorganic chemistry is the branch of chemistry in which you know the properties of different substances, say hydrogen and its properties, its physical properties, chemical properties, oxygen, how can you prepare it in the laboratory, what are its physical properties, chemical properties, say ammonia, sulfur dioxide, sulfate, anything, any chemical compound that can be made in the laboratory, and what are the properties, physical and chemical properties. This branch is inorganic chemistry. The third part is naturally organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is the branch of chemistry that deals generally with carbon and its compounds. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, how they have constituted the living organism of this planet. In the living organisms, the living bodies, the plants, the animals, they are all composed of all these elements. So out of which carbon is the prominent element, the chief important element. The next part comes analytical chemistry. And this branch of chemistry generally deals with the industrial applications of chemistry, or when we want to know what is there in this rock. Suppose we have a mines here, we are drilling and we are transporting these materials to different factories, and in those factories these things are analyzed. What is there in this rock or this ore, and ores that contain minerals are found by the analysts, chemical analysts. So analytical chemistry is a vast branch of chemistry, and this branch deals with industrial applications. And the next part, the branch of chemistry will be biochemistry. Biochemistry has played an important role in all these 2-3 years after the outbreak of the pandemic COVID-19, the coronavirus. All through the world we have searched for the biochemists, those who came, had their precautionary measures and tried to find the viral infections, what are the nature or the behavior of the virus, the coronavirus, what are its variants, alpha variant, beta variant, delta variant, omicron variant, all those variants. These were the works of biochemists, and biochemists come under, they study the branch called biochemistry. And there are some other branches also like environmental chemistry. In this branch we generally study the purity of the environment around us, and when we try to find the air pollutants, how pure is our water we are using, how pure air do we breathe, or what are the different aspects around us which promote, which grow, or which destroy our environment, and that branch is environmental chemistry. And there are several other miscellaneous branches, like say polymers, a very important branch of chemistry which has made this modern world so cute, so interesting, so beautiful, so comfort giving because of this branch. And in the modern world, whether you are using Asian paints or you are using a PVC pipe, all these are contribution of this branch, polymers. So all these branches of chemistry center around one thing, that is matter and its compositions. First, let us talk on matter. What is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and hence it must occupy space. So matter has two factors. It has mass and it has a volume, occupied space. And this factor in physics is known as volume. So indirectly we can say anything that has a mass and a volume must be matter. So then how to classify this matter? If we take matter as the chief thing, the chief constituent of our universe, then this can be classified in two ways. It has two classifications, say physical classification and chemical classification. The physical classification talks about the physical states of matter. What are the physical states of matter? Matter exists in solid state, in liquid state, in gaseous state. So the three states of matter, say solids, liquids and gases. These are the three. Physical classification gives us three different types of matter, that are solids, liquids and gases. You are well aware of these things. The duster I pick on my left hand is a solid one. The air I breathe into is a gaseous one, and the blood that flows through my vein is a liquid one. So solids, liquids and gases are everywhere in this universe, and most of them exist in our planet, on Earth. Earth has near about 29% land, nearly 71% water. So the Earth's crust has this thing. On the surface of Earth we see this. And if we just study about the soil, the water and the air around us, do you know what their chief constituents are? The largest portion of these three things is water. Sorry, the largest thing is oxygen. Do you know the percentage? Soil contains about 48% of oxygen, and in water it is about 89.9%, and in air it is about 20%. So what is prominent on Earth? If we consider of Earth, the matter on Earth has oxygen and oxygen and oxygen. So we can say Earth is an oxygen planet. And how funny it is, the water contains maximum amount of oxygen, the air the minimum amount of oxygen. We love to breathe air, not water, and we have more oxygen in water. So if we become the aquatic animals like the whales, the fishes, then we have more oxygen to breathe, and we have less oxygen to breathe if we are mammals, those who breathe the airy oxygen only. So just considering these things, the physical classification stops here: solids, liquids and gases. and these two combinedly are called fluids. Why? Because they are able to flow. Since they are able to flow, liquids flow, gases flow, so they are fluids. And these fluids have a common property. They are able to flow means they can move. So when movement comes into consideration, we have fluids, liquids and gases. But when staticness or the rest comes, then they are solids. So they must be having some special properties like this. These solids have definite shape. The liquids take the shape of the container, so they are not having fixed shape. Gases do not have a shape. They take the shape of the container in which they put. Similarly, definite volume. They have, liquids also have definite volume, but gases also, their volume can be variable. They do not have fixed volume. And if we talk of motion of particles, aggregation of particles, or motion of particles, there is almost no motion, but they can slide. The molecules of liquid can slide, while the gases can flow. They can fly to any possible direction. So when we consider so many properties, solids, liquids and gases become different from each other, and we shall deal with these things later on after we finish the classification of matter. Then let us go for chemical classification. What are they? Chemically we can find the matter to be two types of them. They may be pure, they may be mixtures. And the pure substances are of generally two types. They may be elemental, belonging to a single element, or they may be compounds. And the mixtures, they are also divided into two different patterns. They may be homogeneous, or they may be heterogeneous. We shall also talk on them separately, independently. Homogeneous matter means the matter that has uniform composition throughout and everywhere. When you take suppose a solution of water and salt, a saline water solution, take a spoon from any point of the bowl, anywhere it tastes the same, the density remains the same. So it is homogeneous composition. So, but when you take a mixture of say groundnut, your things that you take in your, suppose you are having a small dish, you are taking some tiffin, you are taking some food into your stomach, then you have a different composition. Everywhere you do not find the same composition. So that is heterogeneous. We shall talk on them later on. Just you must know how they are classified. The elements similarly are of three kinds. They may be metals, they may be non-metals, which are not metals, and they may be metalloids, means semi-metals. Metalloids, they can be semi-metals. Do you know the examples of them? Zinc, copper, your gold, silver, all these are metals. And oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, these are non-metals. And tin, your the things like tin, antimony, they are semi-metals. So all these elements which are pure, made up of a single element, can be classified into three groups. What about the compounds? Compounds are group of atoms that combine, that chemically combine to form a thing, and those compounds also can be classified. The compounds can be say homoatomic, and they can be heteroatomic. what are homoatomic compounds? Suppose oxygen and oxygen they combine to form O2, nitrogen and nitrogen combine to form N2, hydrogen and hydrogen combine to form H2. These are compounds of a single element, so they will be called homoatomic, because homo means equal type. When things of equal alike atoms which are equal type, when they combine they form homoatomic. But what about H2O, water? There are 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. What about ammonia, NH3? 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogens. So these are called heteroatomic because they have different atoms with them. With this, we conclude the classification of chemical classification and the physical classification. When we are thinking of compounds, the pure things are either elemental or compounds. These compounds I classified as homoatomic and heteroatomic. They can also be classified as inorganic and organic. These are compounds of say chromium, iron, magnesium, lithium, say barium, say cobalt, nickel. All these atoms they make inorganic compounds, and along with them you take all the non-metals like chlorine, bromine, iodine, oxygen, iodine, say nitrogen, phosphorus. All these things, the non-metals and metals, they combine and form inorganic things. And what about organic things? You have methane, propane, etc. The alkanes like C2H4, ethene or propene. So alkanes, alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, all these are organic compounds, and this way we can find the chemical classification. And next we reach a point where we have 2 things. We have compounds which are also combinations. We have mixtures which are also combinations. When I add 2 or 3 things and they are combining physically, they make a mixture. When they are chemically combined, they make a compound. So this is a chemical reactions are involved. Chemical mixtures or chemical combinations is involved. In mixture, it is a physical mixture. So one can be the process of making a solution, solute plus solvent makes a solution. From the solution we can separate solute and solvent just by heating them. By separating the solvent from the solution, we can get the solution back. So this is a physical combination, and this is a mixture. This is homogeneous mixture. But if there are 3 to 4 things, suppose there is paddy plus there is some pebbles, some stones, plus soil, plus salt. If I just add these things together, will they make a compound? No, because this is a physical combination. Just add water to this, you will find the salt and soil are mixing with water and are separated. Then you have paddy plus pebbles. You dry these things and then you fan. You just make it fall from a height and use a fan. When air is blown, you will find paddy being lighter will be thrown to a different distance, while pebble being heavier will fall down here, while paddy will be here. So you can separate them. So by physical processes we can separate the physical combinations and mixtures. But chemical compounds cannot be separated. When you have H2O, if you want to find H2 and O2 out of this, you have to make an electrolysis, and it is not easy to separate nitrogen and oxygen, hydrogen and hydrogen, they make ammonia. So this direction is easy, but this direction is difficult. So there are chemical processes that are involved to find the compositions or the constituent items that are embedded in such things. So separation of these things is not easy. So when we compare compounds and mixtures, we can take a set of different parameters. First thing, composition. What are the things they have in compounds and in mixtures? There are fixed things to form compound, but any two things can make a mixture. Any two things cannot make a compound. Say helium and suppose you are adding sodium, they will never make a compound, but they can make a mixture. So take any two things in this universe, they can form a mixture, but any two things do not chemically combine, so they do not form a compound. So composition is a factor. Next, the bonds, the chemical bonds. There are certainly chemical bonds in compounds. They are not present here. There are some weak bonds here, but they are not calculated when we are talking of chemical bonds. When you think of the uniformity, the things that are in compounds have a uniform composition. So uniform composition throughout. The mixtures are of two types. In one there is homogeneity, in the other there is no homogeneity or heterogeneity. So we can compare these things if we discuss them together, and with this we have reached the matter, its the classifications and the types of matter, whether they are solid, liquid or gas, if we are physically classifying them, whether they are pure and mixtures, if you are chemically categorizing them, and go through this video again and again, twice or thrice. You will be thorough about the part 1 of this chapter, the first chapter, the units and measurement, and the chemistry, the basics of chemistry. So basics of chemistry, after this part we shall go for the detailed things, how to use the SI units, about the processes, chemical processes, and again the calculations, the composition, the percentage compositions, simply composition of things. In the next class we shall consider about these things. So till the next class, thanks for watching. Bye. Thank you.